I'm gonna need everyone to be very, very quiet. We can't wake these guys up. I'm here to go ahead and get a trinket that's just below this outlet here. I'll look. Where exactly is it? I think it's around there. I don't know. Not there. Not over there. Oh, there it is. I see it now. Okay, we're gonna go over there very slowly and very quietly as to not wake all these guys up. Alright? Make sure to keep your voices low. Stay asleep. Keep sleeping. We got it. Okay, now it's time to sleep. Oh, okay. Alrighty, everybody, welcome back to UnGrounded. As you can see in the clip before, we are going to be getting geared up a little bit in this episode, because we do have a lot of things we still need to do. Of course, I'm still walking around here with Pebblet tools and the Ant Club, and there are people on this world who already have the termite axe, so of course we're going to need to get some gear. So I'm going to go down here, grab the Rotten Stinger Spear, just to have a bit more equipment. So then we can go ahead and grind out a bunch more gear. And we can actually get things set up so that we don't die to everything. Of course, it's going to take a little longer than it took others because I'm not as good. But here we go, time-lapse time. And here we are. We have a bit better tools, a bit better weapons. But today I'm going to start the zipline hub for the server. As you can see, I'm using the handy dandy handy nat. Also, somebody built a wall down there, which I didn't notice before. But that's besides the point. We have to set up the zipline hub. Of course, we're going to put this on the oak tree because it's one of the most central points in the map and also one of the most useful, especially because a lot of our members will be basing around here. So, of course, we're going to build this, and time for time lapses, you can already see. And that is it. That's all the building we're going to do for this episode, and also the last time lapse for this episode. So don't worry if the time lapses were getting a bit old. That is all there will be in this entire video. But now we get to take a look at the pond lab. As you can see, I already got the bubble helmet during that time lapse. And it's time to go dive into the pond depths and see what exactly is down there, and of course raid the pond lab to get a bunch of things that I will be using later. So let's kind of ironically dive right into the pond lab. So, as we catch our breath for the first time since we've entered the pond, we make our way to the first step of the lab, actually opening up all of the generators so we can get power to this place. This is the hardest part of the pond lab, but of course it is one of my favorites because it's a small little puzzle and a small little game. But here we go. And there we have it. All of the switches of the pond have been turned on, so we can now start getting power up to the place and start actually exploring the entirety of a lab. But, of course, we do have to get jumped by that silly little acer right there real quick, and I don't exactly know why I'm using my hammer. But, of course, we do pull out the club and beat the acer down because we did not invite him. So, if you didn't know, the pond lab is underwater, as you've already seen, but it's also one of the easiest labs and the first of the 3 major labs we're going to do. Of course, next episode we'll either be tackling the Black Ant Hill or the Haze lab, and then we will go further into the game. But for now, we are here exploring around, and I'm going to just skip around a bit because this is honestly a little embarrassing how long it took me. But I'll see you guys all in a second. As I said, I'm not that good at the pond lab, but we did make it in the end, so now we can go ahead and head up to the pond dome, which is the main objective of this lab. So, of course, we just have to kill a couple tasties and arcars, and then we will be straight out of here, but as you'll see here in a second, I have a bit more difficulty with that than intended. And this right here is the reason I'm not the one with the termite axe. At least we got our gold card for it, which was a nice little consolation prize. But we can, of course, come up here to the pond dome. And after we grab these chips, we can, in fact, throw the thing open. Well, with that done, we're good to go ahead and make our way out of the pond lab through the hatch and go over into the oak lab and give the chip to Burgle. This will unlock a couple things. Notably, curved bases and buoyant foundations. These are both great for everybody, especially on a building server such as this one, but particularly, I'm going to have a fun time with the buoyant bases, and I will do a pretty cool idea, I think, with it. So do stay tuned for that in the coming episodes. But of course, before we do any of that, we have to go ahead and talk to Burgle about whatever Burgle has to talk with us about today. So of course, he's given us the rundown that the pawn ship gave us, but of course, we don't really care about this today. Love you, Burgle, but you're yapping a bit too much. So, of course, once we skip through this dialogue, we can go ahead over to the terminal and get ourselves some buoyant foundations and the works. So, of course, yeah, we do get buoyant foundations, battle buddies, curved bases. We unfortunately do not have enough science for at the time, but as you can see, it's going to be extremely useful. And here we are at the end of episode 2. I know 2 episodes in 2 days is kind of nice. Do not expect daily episodes for much longer. But, of course, as you can see, I did get this weapon off camera. Mostly with things that other people got that I just kind of stole. But, not stole. I mean, I guess they're using my base, so I'm allowed to use their stuff. But if we go ahead into HandyNet, you can see, of course, that we are using these buoyant foundations for just the foundation of a new building. But here at the end of the episode, why don't we take a little check on the rest of the server? Of course, as you can see in the time lapse a little bit, I was working on this here zip line, but you didn't get to actually see the product as it is right now that much in the actual time lapse, but here it is. Of course, it's not much of a looker right now, but once we get everything built around, we can start with the aesthetic stuff. We do, of course, have a zip line down to the lily pad near my outpost. Of course, we can't really use it right now because we don't yet have the zipper from the Black Ant Lab. We do have one of our members making their base over here in the pagoda. If I get a little bit closer, you'll be able to see a couple of foundations they plan on placing down here. Yeah, there's their zip line and a bunch of grass floors for their future base. But that's not all the members. Let's just take a real quick move over towards the spawn area. Here we can see the start of a base from another one of our members, nicely tucked into the leaves here. I haven't been to this one much because it's, you know, a little out of my way, but I've definitely noticed the progress is happening. So, of course, there are, I think, currently 4 members, so, and that number is only expected to grow. There is a Discord server in the description if you want to come join our community and possibly even apply to join the server itself. We would love to have you. But with that, this has been episode 2 of UnGrounded.